In the summer of 1973, three friends Ed, Dennis, and Joe set out for a hunting trip in Alaska's Kenai Peninsula. They were deep in an isolated spot called Dogfish Bay when a storm forced them to set up camp for the night. The wilderness there is no joke. Towering cliffs, dense forests, and fog that rolls in without warning. At night, the silence feels heavy, broken only by the distant crash of waves or the occasional snap of branches in the dark. On their second night, a storm pinned them down. They set up camp, lit a fire, and tried to sleep as rain hammered against the canvas of their tent. Then at 2 a.m., Ed was jolted awake by Dennis whispering, "Something's out there." The men listened. That's when they heard it, heavy, deliberate footsteps. Not the 4-beat shuffle of a bear, but the slow bipedal crunch of something walking upright. The sound circled their tent. Once, twice, then it stopped. They waited, hearts pounding, but the silence never broke. Whatever it was hadn't walked away, it had simply vanished. They even thought it was still out there waiting to ambush them. They made it through the night without incident, but still rattled on what they've heard. The next night, it returned. This time, all three men heard the steps. With rifle and flashlight in hand, they burst out of the tent, ready to confront their stalker. But the forest was still. Their light cut through nothing but rain and mist. No tracks, no animal, no answers. By morning, they decided not to push their luck. The hunt was over. They left Dogfish Bay behind, but none of them ever forgot the sound of those footsteps. Years later, Ed came across a decades-old Alaskan magazine. Inside, he found something chilling, an article about a village not far from where they had camped. The article told of disappearances, unexplained deaths, and an entire community that had abandoned its home in fear. The village's name was Portlock, Alaska, and apparently, they were lucky to survive that night. Portlock was founded in the early 1900s as a salmon cannery town. For a while, it thrived. There was a school, a church, even a post office. Children played along the rocky shoreline, and workers cut timber from the hills. On the surface, it was a picture-perfect Alaskan village. But underneath, something was wrong. Native Nantiinaq elders had long warned about a creature known as Nantiinaq, a massive, hairy being that walked like a man, but was not human. The name meant something like, "the ones who steal us." In their stories, Nantiinaq was not just an animal, but a powerful presence in the land, one that grew violent if disrespected. At first, settlers brushed off the warnings as superstition. But then the disappearances began. In 1905, just 5 years after the town was founded, workers started vanishing. Some were never seen again. Others washed up in the lagoon dismembered, torn apart in ways no bear attack could fully explain. Panic spread. Native workers fled, saying the place was cursed. In 1923, teenager Sergius Moonin claimed he saw the creature himself, a towering figure covered in hair, walking upright along the beach. It carried a large club-like stick. He wasn't alone, others reported the same. Not long after, hunters came back from the forest with wild tales of trees ripped from the ground and replanted upside-down roots clawing at the sky. Then came the death of Andrew Kamluck in 1931. His skull was crushed by an enormous piece of logging equipment, too heavy for any man to lift alone. Officially, no explanation was given. Unofficially, people whispered, Nantiinaq had struck again. Through the 1930s and 40s, disappearances piled up. Hunters, prospectors, and even entire logging crews went missing. Villagers spoke of huge 18-inch footprints in the mud, whistling calls echoing through the woods, and strange lights that danced across the sky. Some even claimed to see apparitions, ghostly women standing on the cliffs, or children playing by the docks who vanished if you approached. Portlock wasn't just plagued by a monster, it seemed haunted.